Nowadays, the question of whether or not to go to college is a more frequent question. I want to talk today about making that decision of if it's the right choice for you, helping you get some kind of thoughts or questions underway that either you can use for yourself or you can talk with your young adult, soon to be high school graduate with if you are a parent. But please tune in because I want to go through this so that hopefully in the long run you can save yourself or someone else some money. My name is Kaylee and I'm a licensed counselor as well as a certified career counselor at the Lookout Point. And I like to share with people tools and tips that I use on a regular basis with my clients in our sessions. So today, this is the big question. Do you need to go to college? Is that a necessary thing in this day and age with all of the different work opportunities and careers that are out there? The first thing that I want you to think about is the cost. When you go to college, at minimum, if you don't have any scholarships, you're probably spending $10,000 to $15,000 a year. That's not a guarantee, but a state level college is usually around that range per semester. That's not including things like room and board or just general living expenses, books, that kind of thing. If you go to a private college, you're going to see those amounts just continue to increase exponentially. And so if you don't know what you want to do, you can often find yourself spending 1 or 2 extra semesters in school making that decision. There's a fun bit of research that found that people who change their major, so freshmen or sophomores who change their major when they're in school to something that fits them better, are more likely to finish college earlier than their peers by 1 or 2 semesters, which means they're essentially saving 10 to 20 to who knows how many $1,000 because they were willing to make that shift into something that fit them better. People who go into school knowing the end path that they want to reach often are able to have the drive and motivation to finish school even faster. And so with the more certainty you have of that destination, the quicker you will move towards that path. So then my question for you is, why are you going? Why are you going to college right now? Is it out of a form of tradition? Is it out of a, well, I don't know what else to do, so why not? Because if that is the reason, I want you to pause and ask yourself if there are some other opportunities you could have to learn and grow that don't cost you tens of thousands of dollars. Same to you, parents. If you're thinking your student needs to go to college right now because, that's what everybody does or that helps them get forward in the future, there are a lot of career paths out there that are not going to require a traditional 4-year college. So first and foremost, question yourself on the why or the what is the motivation for going. After you have kind of gotten your why figured out, start to think about what it is that you want to do. Are you relatively certain that you want to pursue a certain path? Do you know that you want to be a teacher or an engineer or a tradesman or a cosmetologist or whatever it is? Do you know that that is a path that you are interested in and would like to pursue further? If so, I'm actually going to ask you to still pause and do a little bit of research about those areas. Look into what the best trainings are, the best schools. Start to do the numbers on how much that will cost in the long run versus how much you'll make in the long run. Now, money isn't everything when it comes to finding a career path that you love. And so I don't want you to feel like you have to choose something that makes you a lot of money, because the truth is, if you are working in something that you love, the overall cost to your life tends to be better because you will have fewer mental health struggles. You will have fewer medical issues because you're in a state of contentment and happiness. So think about that path and then do the research on what it takes to get there. And if it requires some college, some higher education, great. You know that that may be a path to take. Before you do that, start to do some research or talk to people you know who are within those fields. If you have the opportunity to go job shadow or even just interview or talk with somebody in that field, do that as well. Because sometimes we have this experience about what something might be, but we haven't ever seen somebody go through it. And once we see somebody go through it, we think, oh, you know what? That's not actually what I want. I always joke that I once wanted to be a veterinarian, but as I worked within a vet's office, I discovered for myself, and I was like a high schooler volunteering, I should be clear. But as I was there, I started to realize that I didn't necessarily want to help the animals. I wanted to help the people who were bringing their animals in, help them feel better if they had to put their pet to sleep or something like that. And so I discovered through that kind of job shadowing experience that I actually wanted to help people. And I think sometimes, speaking of animals, my cat is here. Hi. And oftentimes I think that we need to actually go into something to experience if it's the right fit for us. So as you start to explore those paths, do the research, not only, online research, but try to talk to some people within the field. There are some really great websites such as ONET Online or Career One Stop that allow you to watch some videos about what those types of careers may look like and what some of the requirements may be. Now, last, on the question of whether or not you should go to college, there are other pieces of that I think are important to consider. Part of college is an experience. And if you have the opportunity to have an experience, it would almost be like, it sounds weird to say it this way, but almost like traveling abroad. It's a really expensive traveling abroad trip. But if you really want to be able to experience another culture, or experience, college life or whatever it is, that may be a part of what you're weighing in your decision making. And through that, I want you to also think about, is that cost worth the outcome? Or can you get that outcome in other places by building communities around you or connecting with people with similar interests or things like that? So I know I've talked a lot today about kind of don't go yet. But what I want you to hear is that the decision to go to college is a very expensive one. And if you are thinking that is the right path for you, know that it can be one that takes a lot of energy and time. And if you don't have that end goal in mind, it can feel really hard to get there. It can tend to cost you more money, more time, more semesters, as opposed to somebody who knows what they want and goes toward that in a straight line. Same to parents. If you're kind of thinking your teen should go to college, and in another video you'll hear me say don't should all over yourself. So even as I'm saying like should in this video, part of me is internally flinching. But if you're having kind of that thought, I want to challenge you to think a little bit more about what their future may look like. Not just in terms of what they might want to pursue, but also in terms of the cost that would be for them to go somewhere and not be certain. At the end of the day, we can find so many career paths. And so some of those require, 4 years, some require 2, some require 12 years of college or training. And in each of those, at the end of the day, if it's the right path, the cost is worth it. If it's the wrong path, you've lost a lot in that time and money that you spent trying to figure it out. So hear me say, pause and explore what that why is for yourself or your teen. And weigh if that why is strong enough to push you through 2, 4, 12 years. I hope that this video has been helpful. If you feel like you need some help figuring out what that career path is, I would love to help you and support you in that journey. My goal is always to help people not find the specific job that they are going to get, but instead understand who they are, the values they have, and what helps them come alive. and love what they do. And so my goal is ultimately to help you move in a direction, not to have an end destination in mind, unless you happen to have that end destination in mind. But I love helping people, and I feel like I'm rambling a little bit. But until next time, please take care. If you have comments or questions, please leave them down below, and I will see you soon. Bye.